Alright, hey witches, welcome back to the channel. This is xoxo. Another topic that I want to cover today is another request. I have an entire notebook of requests that I need to cover in videos. And one of the questions that was asked recently was which I think is very important, and I'm going to go ahead and cover first. How to be an empowered empath. This person was asking me because they see a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of articles and different information out there on, shielding yourself, on protection, avoidance type of things. And they were wondering, more along the lines of using empathic abilities as a power or as a weapon, and for healing. So I think that is a very important and good subject. So yeah, when we're talking about empathic powers, that is the ability, the psychic ability that I had inherently. I was just born with that power turned on, and it never turned off. It just kept going throughout my childhood and then into my adult life. And so empathic psychic power is basically that you take on the feelings. You can psychically pick up emotional energy, and from that you can gather information about someone's intentions, someone's motives. For instance, if someone is being fake towards you, you could empathically feel that really what they're feeling is like hate or distaste with you, even though to your face they're acting a different way. That type of thing. So it's a psychic power in that sense because you can gather information and intelligence on an emotional level from whatever you're picking up on. Okay. So I was always able to sense when people had negative intentions towards me, even if they didn't act like it. I could sense it. Or if someone had negative intentions towards someone that I knew, I could sense that. And I was always warning people, like, don't trust this person because I just get a bad feeling and stuff like that. And they wouldn't listen to me, of course. And then, a little bit further down the road, it would come out. That happened to me so many times. It still happens to me to this day with people. Even though everyone knows I'm psychic now. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, your empathic abilities are not it's not a disability, okay? It's actually something that you can use as a power. It's all in, where you're at with it in your practice. Do you practice with it, or is it just something that you have that you're not developing or trying to master, okay? Where are you at with your empathic abilities? Are you trying to use it consciously and master it? Or are you just, having it and not doing anything with it? And thus it is more like a disability or something that you're just not in control of, which makes it chaotic, which makes it could be a negative thing, okay? So when it comes to being an empowered empath, well, you're going to have to learn how to control it to begin with. So the shielding, the protection work is very important at the beginning of this because you need to understand, how to control it. Once you achieve that through creating barriers, shields, so that you can control when you're using it or not, to be receptive of the emotional energies around you, and the feelings and the vibrations around you. Once you've set up those limits and barriers and shields and walls, you are now in a position to where you can control when you turn it off or when you turn it on, in the sense of letting those shields down or having them up. Okay? So you need to be in a position where you feel comfortable with that, and when you feel in control of doing that much. Once you get to that position, and once you've been doing it regularly, you can then start to use your empathic abilities in a more productive way, because now you can lower your shields at certain times when you want to get a reading, or when you want to do a read on someone, on a situation. Like on the energies around, you can lower your shields and open yourself to that experience. Gather the information that you need, and then put the shields back up. Okay? Now, another thing that I should point out in this video is that with your empathic power, you are sensitive to the energies. Now, that's just the core of it, okay? With that sensitivity, yes, in the receptive aspect, or I should say, with that sensitivity, there's a receptive aspect to it, but there's also a projective aspect to it, okay? Being sensitive to the energies is the core of this. So what you basically need to do when you're starting off is limit the receptive aspect, get that under control, I should say, through shielding, through protection, charms, whatever it takes. And just get that under control. Get the receptive part under control, okay? Now, on the other side, the projective aspect, you're sensitive to the energies at the core. So what that means is, not only are you affected by the energies, but you have a greater power and ability to affect the energies as well. So people who are empathic have a greater natural ability to do energy work, okay? Because we are sensitive to the energies. So that's not just in the receptive sense of taking on energy, it's also in the projective sense. We can directly manipulate the energies and the emotions of other people, or the vibrations in an atmosphere, in an area. Okay, this comes in handy really well when you're doing magic or spell work, or when you're doing magic on people or situations that involve people. We can bring a dynamic energy shift to the entire situation that affects each person involved, at the emotional level, okay? So, for example, I have been in situations where I have enemies, and I have used my empathic power on them to shift them from being an enemy anymore. So, for instance, I could project a lot of love energy, or in a more of a distracting sense, I could project humor and amusement, fascination magic, pretty much, and it can shift the entire dynamic of that relationship um, at the emotional, vibrational level, the energetic level, to where that person will not be your enemy anymore. Okay? There's different things that you can do like that. I'm just trying to give an example. Don't let this limit you on how you can use it. Because I'm still learning as well. Even, this far down my path, I'm still learning and experimenting. I'm always experimenting with my magic, with my abilities. You never stop learning on this path. There's always something new that you can do or try and learn. So, I have used it in that way. I have done love work on enemies to confuse them or to change their dynamic of how they view me or a situation. Different things like that. And, with the empathic ability, it really kind of just makes it easier, specifically when it comes to doing magic on other people. You don't really necessarily have to cast a spell or do a ritual. You can just, with your empathic power, shift that energy in that aspect. But this really does come in handy with any kind of magic or spell work. It's not just magic on other people either. So just the whole point of this video is to get you to look at your empathic abilities with maybe a new perspective than you have before. Not just being receptive, sensitive, but also being sensitive in the projective aspect. You have a greater capacity to do energy work and manipulate directly the energies in other people's auras, in your own aura, in the aura of an atmosphere of a situation or a location. So there is a great capacity for healing as well. You could go into a haunted area and really connect on the energetic level, with what happened there, with the spirits that are there. You can attach, or not attach, but rather you can connect on an emotional level with the spiritual presence there, and that will really help you get a greater result than just going in there, with more of a psychic, like telepathic, or just your third eye's open, mental type of psychic energy. The emotional psychic energy is more connective between you and whatever you're psychically perceiving. Okay, I hope that makes sense to y'all. The mental psychic abilities, clairvoyance and things like that, are more cold and separate, less connected. Okay, your emotions is what connects you to other people, including spirits, including energies. So that type of psychic power at the emotional level is more connective between you and others, or between you and spirits, and just energies that we work with as witches. So I'm just trying to get y'all to think of your empathic power more of a power that you can wield and use in your connections with whatever you're doing. Excuse me, or with whatever you're dealing with. Someone asked me what this cup says. It says, "Don't tell me to keep calm." So that's my input on that. You can be an empowered empath. It's not just about shielding yourself and shutting the power down. It's more about using the power, mastering it from a different perspective where you can actually project that energy and control it. It starts with controlling your own energy, like I said. So when you're starting this, you definitely want to make sure that you're setting up those shields and barriers and walls so that you can control it. But, that will only take you so far. If you really want to be an empowered empath, then you need to embrace your power, open yourself to it. Don't have the shields up all the time. Embrace it, go deeper into it, learn how to master it as far as in your own aura, so that you can then apply it in outer situations, okay, and see where that takes you. I have gained a lot more success by using my empathic power in this way, okay? So hopefully this gives you some kind of an idea of what you can do with it, or just, for starters. Let me know if you have any comments or questions below, and I will see y'all on the next videos. Okay, blessed be.